Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue another week of shelter-based or supported character that we have been living under this cover for a few weeks now, and we haven't exhausted. I probably wouldn't be exhausted because there will, I try to pack things into week-long units and group things that look alike together. So this time we see, this horizontal line with two vertical lines, we see that part as a radical, not a self-standing symbol that's related to plant, to grass. And then at the bottom we have C, human C. However, when we look at the classical Chinese version, there's an extra dot in there. Okay, so we know this human C, classical Chinese, traditional Chinese would draw out the eyeball here. So this is the eyeball verticalized. And then this two horizontal lines, straight lines, it simply is the border of your iris. And the bottom, though, is not a human because human would look like this. The bottom is actually looking like a deer. We've seen similar looking things like this, like a bunny, tu, with that. And now we see in a comparison of this extra, probably hinder leg, was abstracted into this dot, separated from the body, that we lost track. We couldn't tell it's actually animal's limbs. So here is this legs. We only see 3 out of 4 of this supposedly animal body part. Big eyeball symbol, and then this we see this symbol, this wedge horns on sheep before. And here is probably more complicated horns than a regular just like two pieces horn. Probably there are more branches over there. So in total, this character underneath was originally a type of goat. So it's not a deer. I was thinking it may be looking like a deer, but the observation of, I guess, this big eyeballed, this almost antler looking horns, and this type of legs that's probably bending backwards versus humans bending forward, right? It's describing this mammal, this kind of a runner mammal that's like goat. So all these parts point to this type of goat, and when this goat paired with this shelter roof imagery, all of a sudden becomes white. And it's hard to imagine why. We have had a monkey under the roof. That means temporary living in there as a guest monkey. And we have trees under that, means near the trees near the shelter. So here I would only imagine, okay, would that shelter actually house this particular goat? And what's the relationship with the goat? Because the Chinese construct the concept of home with the pig image under the shelter, because that's food security. But do we back then also raise the goat? And if we have a goat, it doesn't mean the goat requires more space than pigs. So if we replace the pig or monkey with this particular horned goat, doesn't mean it requires a bigger housing or shelter or barn for the type of animal underneath. We didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know that. Probably someday scholars can find out. But in the end, we end up with this wide concept that I can only explain it by, okay, to house, to shelter this particular kind of a goat or animal, probably is not fully domesticated as a pig, who probably doesn't require too much space, versus the goat probably needs more space. I wish I work on a farm a little bit so that I can tell the backstory of this animal living quarter requirement. But when pairing this particular goat underneath the shelter, it means wide, bigger space. And we can see the progression here that traditional Chinese still keep the original look, except that this horn, this wedge shape, was replaced by two parallel horizontal lines. That's simply for ease of writing and also standardize, because we have this and we have this. I mean, we have this, we have this. Probably there's somebody decided there's no need to differentiate and make so many different versions of lookalike things, visuals. But we wouldn't know it's not grass, it's horns, until we look at 2,000 years ago's version. Okay. Kuān song. Song would be the pine tree, and I would imagine why song means loose, that the pine needles probably give a huge cushion and pretty airy, pretty loose. So that's probably why song also means loose. When we have wide and loose, it simply means give you comfortable room, enough room up there. You can wear some loose fitting clothes and call that kuān song. Or you can have some loose regulation. We also call it a kuān song. In recent years, we have this, what do you call it? 政策宽松, which is quantum easing, or 量化宽松. Okay, 量化宽松 is quantum easing. So this easing also translated as 宽松. As you can see, this is a pretty diverse expression. When placed in different contexts, can give different meanings, but it all share the same original meaning of wide and loose. It's not tight-fitting. It's not tightening, but it's easing, it's loosening. Okay, 宽待, that means treatment. Treat people with wide, spacious treatment. Okay, what does it mean, spacious treatment? 宽待, when we say spacious treatment, it actually means you treat somebody with a lot of generosity, provide good food and boarding conditions, treat them well. So that's 宽待. 宽裕, 裕 probably means have enough. Have enough. Here is a type of either a valley that's rich in producing crops, or it's the crops themselves that's produced in that valley. In any case, it's related to food. And as we know, agrarian society, if you are on a rich, flat area, good food production source, that's good life. So 宽裕, wide and bountiful, or 裕 means highly productive place. So that means you're well-resourced. You're not under tight budget. So 宽裕, oftentimes we say 手头宽裕, means you have enough cash flow, or your emergency fund was enough to cushion you for long time, so you don't need to be nervous about market condition. All right, so here is 宽, and one search for the concept of 宽because it's a little bit hard to express. So this, I guess, off-trail, what is it called? Off-trail vehicle, kind of so small, humans and vehicles in this big canvas of a sandy place, I mean a desert place, probably gave it a sense of the broad horizon we're seeing here. So 宽, thank you for your time. See you another day.